pause that. All right, welcome everyone to the Kitsap Great Give webinar for 2025. We are so excited to be working with you again. My name is Grace Draper. I'm a Senior Giving Day Program Manager here at Mightycause, and I have with me Lillian and Gretchen from the Kitsap Community Foundation team here to assist. So we are excited to be here for another year with you all. We're going to go over just a little bit today about the event itself, especially with the date change and some exciting new things. We'll talk about how to register. Hopefully for those of you who are returning, a lot of this is familiar, but we'll do a quick overview on how to register. We'll remind you about how the to-do list works. And then we will also go over a quick platform refresher for everyone returning, since it may have been a while since you logged in. We'll just review where everything is for you to start navigating the site. And then at the end, we will do an open Q&A. However, throughout the time, I will stop at kind of the end of each section. So if you want to put questions in the chat or the Q&A as we go, I will be answering them at the end of each section as well, just to kind of keep things relevant to what we're talking about. So the Kitsap Great Give is presented by the Kitsap Community Foundation. It's a 24-hour giving day for the Kitsap area nonprofits. The Kitsap Great Give has resulted in more than $17 million since 2014, which is very exciting. That's a huge impact for the community, so each year is very important to continuing that impact. With the date change this year, the early giving will open on Saturday, March 1st, so that is about a month earlier than last year. Hopefully that gives everyone time to get some extra donations ahead of the giving day, catch those who might be out of the office by the giving day itself, but start ramping up those donations. And then the Kitsap Great Give itself will be on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. So Gretchen and Lillian have sent out lots of communication about this date change, but hopefully everyone has marked your calendars. This March 11th is a little earlier than last year. So we want to make sure that everyone is preparing, kind of shifting your timeline up to get ready for the March Giving Day. For nonprofits, there are eligibility requirements. You must be a registered 501c3, current on your tax filings with the IRS. You must serve residents of Kitsap and North Mason or be based in the immediately surrounding areas. So this is a local event for the Kitsap area and North Mason area. In order to participate, you do have to register. It doesn't work if you don't register, so we do need your registration filled out by Tuesday, January 21st at midnight. This ensures that your nonprofit is eligible to be on the list of nonprofits to receive donations. Everyone will notice, maybe if you've been to the site already, if you haven't, you'll see this. All of the nonprofits have been cleared from the search. So right now, the Kitsap Great Give search is empty. As your nonprofit gets approved, you will be added back to the search. So again, it's very important to register so that you can be in that search to receive donations from donors on the Kitsap Great Give. So first we'll jump into how to register. I don't see any questions about eligibility, but again, feel free to pop questions in the chat as we go. For registration, it will work exactly the same as last year. So you'll want to kind of determine, are you a returning platform user or a new platform user? For those of you who have been on the Kitsap Great Give platform before, you will just log right back in using your 2024 credentials, or you can use the password reset button if it's been a while since you've been on the platform. I'm notorious for getting my passwords as well. It's a real easy process to just reset your password and start all over. Everything will be right there when you sign in again, but returning users should already have a login. If you are a new user, maybe you've taken over for someone at your organization or you're new to the Kitsap Great Give as an organization, you will just click login and follow the steps to create an account on the website itself. So once you're logged in, you will visit the main website again, kitsapgreatgive.org, and you'll see register now in the header menu. You're just going to click that register now or the registration button on the homepage to get to the registration form. Once you're on the registration form page, you'll see what this is a screen snip here of the registration form module. You will be able to either select your organization from last year. If you're already an admin for your organization, it will show up in this select from your organization section. You just click this radio button here, and then it'll let you select and continue. If you don't have an organization down here that you're an admin for, you can just search it by EIN right here. You can also search by name, but we definitely recommend searching by your EIN just to ensure that you're getting the correct organization, since some orgs have similar names. It's just best to search by your EIN here, and then you'll be able to select your organization from the drop-down menu that appears and click Select and Continue as well. I do want to note, if you are completing multiple organization registration forms, you do need to complete multiple forms. So if you have multiple chapters or if you are associated with multiple organizations, each organization does need its own individual registration form filled out. So once you've filled out your registration form, you will move on to logging in and doing the to-do list. One thing I do want to note with the registration form, Gretchen and Lillian did a great job of emailing those questions ahead of time. When you're on the registration form page, if you visit the site now, you can go see that page live. You'll see the list of things you'll need to prepare, questions you might be asked, so you can always kind of preview the registration form before completing it. But once you have completed the registration form, you'll move on to your to-do list. The items on the to-do list are the same as last year, so some of you may be ahead. If you were participating last year, these things might already be done, but you will want to double check that they're completed. When we get to the platform refresher, I will show you how to see the to-do list, but just real quick, want to review what is on that list. Each organization participating must have a logo updated, so you'll want to check your logo on your organization profile. You can update it right there on the profile or upload a logo if you're new. You will also need to fill out the About section. In order for the About section to be considered complete, you have to have at least 50 words for our system to identify that you have content in the About section. So if you've filled something out but it's not checking off on the to-do list, you'll just want to add some more content, and then it will eventually check it off. It is recommended to have a banner image on your profile page. This is not required, but it does just make your profile page look more interesting. It's kind of similar to Facebook and other social media where you have a little background image and then your logo. We do recommend not having text in your banner image. Try to make that an image itself, just because that logo will overlay with the banner image. And we'll look at all of this again when we get to the platform refresher, but just a few notes about that banner image to consider. Something else you'll need to do is set up your EFT payouts for when we disperse the donations. Obviously super important, as you want to receive the donations that you have been given on the platform. This is completely secure, done through our banking information system. It all remains completely masked once you've submitted it, and then our team reviews it for accuracy, and you will receive notification once you've set it up if either it was accepted, or in some cases we will ask for more information. So once you've submitted that EFT setup initially, just kind of keep an eye out for emails to make sure it's been approved, or to see if you need to provide more information. And then lastly, on the to-do list, you'll have your thank you page. Again, this is not required, it's just recommended, but it is very important to the donor experience. Once a donor completes a donation, they land on the thank you page confirmation page, and your thank you message will be part of their landing page once they've made the donation. So if you don't have a thank you page, there's just no way for your organization to have that brand recognition and that thank you message immediately upon donation completion. So again, not required, but very highly recommended. I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions in the chat so far. I don't see anything, so hopefully that means everyone is following along and following well, or maybe just is returning, so all of this is familiar information. So we will get right into the platform refresher. The platform itself, again, has not changed in the last year, so if you are a returning user, you will just want to review everything on your profile to make sure it's still up to date. For those of you who are new, this is a great way to just get familiarized with the platform ahead of signing in. And again, if you're on your computer, you can also follow along on the side. That way, if questions come up, you can put them in the chat as we go. So on your dashboard, you will log in and have this left-hand side menu like in this screenshot. So you have your overview page, which is where you can review your registration status. You will see brand announcements there. So you'll see a few actually already published from Lillian about reminders for registration and training. You'll also see your to-do list there. So you'll see this to-do list button at the top of every page as you navigate your dashboard. If your to-do list has a little red dot next to it, that means you have an outstanding item that needs to be completed. So you'll see that list we just reviewed a couple slides back will be broken into what's required and then what's recommended. Once you've completed all of the required items, that little red dot will disappear. Something else to note is that, as I mentioned, the EFT setup does require review and approval from our team. So if for some reason this one isn't checked off and you think you've set it up, it just means that you may want to check in on the status. You can write into support@mightycause.com to check in on your status, or check your email to see if you've received that request for additional information. There's an organization page tab that you can visit, which is where you can see your live organization page and make edits right there on the organization page. So there's no bouncing back and forth between a settings page and the profile itself. You can make all your changes right there on the organization page, profile live, essentially. There's a fundraising tools tab. This is something we'll talk about in future webinars, the fundraising tools available to you, but feel free to click around and check those out ahead of time so you can bring questions to that next webinar. We also have reports where you can get donation data, look at past donations, make sure you filter by time period, things like that. You also have a checkout section and a settings section where you can fill out that thank you page and other additional settings just to zhuzh up your page and make things a little more interesting for donors. So to customize your profile, you'll visit that organization page tab. So this is just a little video preview of what you might see when you visit that. As you'll see, we're clicking the pencil icons in that video to easily edit right there on the page. You can customize your page as much as you'd like. There's lots of tab options, different things you can fill out. Again, not all of this is required on the to-do list, but it's definitely very helpful for your donors and visitors to the page just to feel like there's a lot of information there. I think all of us know when we visit websites or social media pages, if there's not a lot filled out, you kind of feel like maybe that person's not really there or they're not very engaged. And so you don't always get as engaged with their page. So I would say just the more content you have time to put in, the more engaged donors will be and feel with your page. I will say just kind of, strategy wise, if you can just set aside 30 minutes to sit down with your profile page, just take that 30 minutes, fill out as much as you can. You'll be, far ahead just with that little 30-minute window. So we try to make it really easy on Mightycause for you to customize everything. As far as your page metrics and giving activity, this is something that you can edit yourself. So you can add an optional goal or progress bar, and that goal can be by donors or by donations, about amount raised, things like that. You can also choose the metrics that you would like displayed. So maybe you want to show your amount raised, maybe you want to show the number of donors, maybe both. Some like to show just the number of donors, depending what your goal is. And then the calculation method you can choose if you want your progress to include or to not include the offline donations. We will automatically set your metrics to recalculate on March 1st when early giving starts. So you don't really need to do anything with this specific date calculation because we will take care of that for you. But if you'd like to do it ahead of time, you can go ahead and put a date in here if you would like as far as the early giving date. For the reports section, we touched on this a little bit already. You have a reports tab where you can view donations. You can review past donations. The Kitsap site is open year-round for donations, so you actually may have some more recent ones in the last 30 days, depending how you use your page. As an admin, you will receive email notifications when a donation is made. If you don't want those notifications on, you can just update that in your account settings. If you're a very active organization, you may get a lot of emails and that's overwhelming. So feel free to update your notification settings accordingly. You can access donor data in real time and download detailed reports live. So this would be on the giving day. You can pull reports and communicate with donors live. Everything updates as it's happening on this donations report tab. One thing that I would recommend doing now is accessing historical data from the previous platform years. So you can change this time period here. It's going to default to the last 30 days, but you can actually change it to be last year's event dates. You can actually see just all donors from last year. There's a filter for the last year. And then you can pull reports accordingly to send out reminders for donors to give again on the Kitsap Great Give. Speaking of giving again, we also have a Give Again feature that was new last year, so this will be available again this year. There's a Give Again tile in the search where donors can easily click and refill their cart with donations from last year. So as we know, many donors give to multiple of you at the same time, multiple organizations. So an easy way to get them to give again to you and to the others they gave to is just to tell them to look for that teal Give Again button right here on the search page. And then they will also be asked if they'd like to increase their donation across the board by 5, 12, or 20%, or not to increase the donation is also an option, but it helps you solicit donors and ask them to increase their impact in your organization. Additionally, the Kitsap Foundation will be sending out communications leading up to and on the day of the Kitsap Great Give. That includes that custom link as well. So encouraging donors to use the Give Again feature is highly recommended, and then the foundation will be taking care of some all donor communications to get them to give again as well. As far as offline donations will work the same as last year. So only offline donations postmarked by March 15th and processed by the Kitsap Community Foundation will be counted towards that 5% bonus boost. So just a reminder, if you want your offline donations to count towards that bonus, you need to send them through the Kitsap Community Foundation, and they need to be postmarked by March 15th. And then as far as the other prizes, offline donations will not count towards any of the timed prizes that we have set up. However, offline donation feature in general is a great way to just track some donations that come into you via cash or check, just to have them in your records. That way all of your historical data is here on the platform. Again, the best way to have donors give is really through the platform so that it counts towards those time prizes and the bonus boost and is in your historical data. But we do understand that offline donations happen, so we have a great way to fill out the information and add it to your records here. As far as the checkout flow, you can visit your checkout section of your organization dashboard, and there's a few different options. I recommend just clicking through and seeing what the settings are available. A few that I want to highlight are that the donation form has custom amounts that you can suggest. So based on your organization's needs or your giving levels, if you have different recognition levels, you can edit these to be customized for your organization. You can also optionally add a description to each donation amount. And so it could say $50 would maybe provide food to 5 dogs for a week or something like that. So you can also note in the description line maybe the impact of each dollar amount for donors. I used to work in nonprofits and fundraising, and I think the number one question I always got was, if I give $25, what's that going to do? If I give $100, what's that going to do? So this is a really easy way to just add that in the description and tell donors up front, when you give this amount, this is your exact impact or projected impact in the community. For the thank you page, I think I mentioned this is highly recommended in the to-do list. Definitely not required, but definitely recommended. You can edit that here under thank you page. As you'll see in the preview, you can add videos and photos in there using the WYSIWYG editor. So definitely explore the options available in the editor for text formatting and making that thank you message engaging. You also get a custom call to action button here. So it will default back to your organization page, but you can actually use the little pencil icon and edit it to send people kind of to the next step of what you would like a donor to do. So if you're thinking about a donor has just given and they land on the thank you page, what would you like the donor to do next? Do you want them to sign up for your newsletter? Do you want them to register for an event that you have coming up? Do you want them to just visit your website or follow you on Facebook? Thinking kind of what's that next step, and then creating the button to be customized to take them there is what I would recommend using it for. As I mentioned, if you don't customize it, it will just take them back to your organization page. And then there is a way to check out right here. If you see this little preview button, there's a way to view the thank you page in context just to see how it's going to look from the donor's perspective. So I definitely recommend also previewing your thank you page once you have created it. And then I do also want to point out this save button here in the WYSIWYG editor. I have missed it before too and lost my work, so just want to remind everyone to look for these save buttons here to make sure that you save your thank you page before you preview or leave the page. Okay, and then lastly, we just wanted to quickly go over the nonprofit toolkit and resources. The Kitsap Foundation has put together an amazing page here. You can visit kitsapgreatgive.org/p/MPO toolkit to see everything that they've prepared for you. There are more resources coming, so definitely keep checking back to the toolkit as we get closer to the giving day. But there are important dates and deadlines on that page. Everything you need really is just in one place. You can double check your 10-word statement for the marketing materials that they're creating. You can download the 2025 custom logo and start using that on your social media and your other publications as needed. There's a workbook, there's more free resources. Again, lots of information coming and resources coming, so keep checking back as you keep preparing. And you can also use on that page, sign up for the next training. Again, another free training just like this. We're going to talk about all those fundraising tools on the platform on Tuesday, February 4th, same time, same place. And then Gretchen has even added a very convenient QR code here, so you can just go ahead and scan that and start registering if you'd like. But really just check out that toolkit page, and really everything that you need will be there. So I think that is all we had for you today. Just want to get everyone started. The priority right now is getting registered. That deadline is coming up January 21st. So priority number 1 would be get registered. Start setting up your page will be priority number 2. And then also, of course, signing up for these trainings and everything to continue preparing for the Kitsap Great Give. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so hopefully that means that everyone is excited and moving forward, ready to get prepared for the Kitsap Great Give, but I'm going to give it one more minute in case anyone wants to add questions to the chat. But that's all we have for you. Lillian and Gretchen, anything you wanted to add? All right.
We want to do our little.
Oh yes, Lillian, let's do the spin while we're waiting for, I see a couple questions coming in, so we will get to those, but first Lillian's gonna do, Lillian, I'll hand it off to you to do your special spin.
Yes, so we talked about putting our orgs who completed the entire application by midnight. And so we're going to do our randomizer. I believe we're picking 3 orgs to be in the Gold Star Club. So I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, yep. Let me stop sharing for you.
Yeah. I have 3 monitors and I just got to pick the right one.
Real.
So we've got a wheel. And we're going to pick our 3 orgs. Ready?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I know. Look at all of those gold stars up there.
Our first org is Friends of the Manchester Library.
Congratulations.
Writing it down so I don't forget.
Yep, me too. We'll announce this on social media too.
Yes, well, you can't ignore it. And the second org is, ooh, real close. Hands up. Nice work. And then
If you're from these orgs, you know, put it in the chat. We want to celebrate you. Hopefully you're here.
And last one. Ooh. Blocks. Congrats, guys.
Woohoo.
Welcome to the Gold Star Club.
Yeah. Awesome.
Congratulations, everyone. That was a cool spinning wheel, Lillian. Great job. Awesome. I do see 2 questions in the chat, I believe. One is, how long will it take to get the EFT set up? So the initial process is hopefully just a few minutes to submit your information. It can take anywhere from 7 to 10 business days to review your EFT requests, since we have so many coming in at one time. I recommend getting that in as early as possible because of that. So hopefully within that 7 to 10 days you get approved, or again, you'll get that request for more information. So definitely earlier than later for that setup. And then I also see someone mention when they click checkout, a message says you're not eligible for donations. Is that because our registration is pending? That could be one of two things. Yes, your registration may be pending, so you will need your registration to be approved. And then I would also check your IRS status, which can be done on your overview page. If you see something that says IRS information needed, you may need to reach out to our support team and just send your updated documents over, but those steps will be included in the message. So Patty, if you want to put your organization in the chat for me, I can just look that up for you to be sure your IRS standing is all good, and then it will be just the registration status is what's affecting that. Awesome. Thank you, Patty. I don't see any other questions that came through, so I think we'll just wrap it up. Again, our next webinar is February 4th, so we're going to cover the fundraising tools. Feel free to check them out ahead of time and bring questions with you, but we look forward to seeing you then. So thank you, everyone.
Oh, we've got one last question, right?
One last question.
Yeah, planning to officially change our name. No, because you do have the option to change your org name in the organization dash.
Yep, you can still register under the old name and then you'll submit a legal name change in our system. Yep, so you are good to go. Alrighty, well, thank you, everyone. We will see you in February.